Hello and welcome back to TNI-UK Impacted, episode 232, coming at you live by Total Non-Stop Impact Network on YouTube, Twitch, and if you listen on the go, then we're available by SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, wherever it's your favourite podcasts. I'm your host, The Joker, standing in for the Bison who is away today. I'm joined by the man from our local nightclub, the draw himself, LimpstarUK. How you doing, Craig?
Yeah, man, good to be back. It's been a bit unreliable lately, haven't I? I will admit that, but yeah, it's good to be joining you on the show today. And I listened back to you on Spotify on your solo show, so you've done it well. So no, round of applause to you, mate. You smashed it on your own and that, along with our faithful in the comments and that. So round of applause to you. Well done.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you very much. How's everybody in the chat? Hi to Mia. Hi to Courtney. Good to see you. She's excited. Mrs. Nemeth. And Melon, how are you doing? How's everybody doing? Hope you had a good weekend. Yeah, I was just mentioning, so in the chat while we're waiting, that it was a huge surprise seeing Loretta Kid coming up to NXT. We're obviously getting into that later, but so it's a huge surprise there. Hi to Eric Isaac. Yeah. Good to see you. Anyhow, well, let's jump into the news and rumors and stuff. Happy birthday, first of all, to Steve Macklin. Go and kick Matt Callum in his ass for us on this Thursday. And happy birthday to Natalia Neidhart as well. I think it's her birthday today. Yes, so I saw that from ODB. So shout out to ODB for reminding me.
Yes, bam.
Bam. And we also got the sad news that Ace Austin has indeed left TNA Wrestling. This was a huge shock. I was expecting him to stay at least a couple of years longer, but given the way the storylines and stuff are going, I had a feeling that he would be leaving when his contract expired this year. But I thought it wasn't expired until October at least, so it was quite surprising to see him go.
It's a bit of a weird one that I kind of felt like he was a mainstage. You know what I mean? And I didn't, when I was like, "Are you going?" So I thought maybe, obviously there was contract talks. Maybe his demands, it's something that TNA couldn't meet, or maybe it was amicable the way that they done it. And I like how the old president Scott D'Amore came out and how is it he put it? He said, I can't remember how he put it, but he dropped something like dynamite in there or something like that. So it kind of indicated that Ace Austin's probably going to turn up on AEW at some point. Which, don't get me wrong, we've had Ace Austin for years. If I remember rightly, I think I was at his debut match in 2018.
Yeah.
And he was phenomenal, especially on AAW and stuff like that. And he's a great wrestler, but at the same time, I don't know where else he can go currently in TNA. So I think, I'm guessing they haven't burnt bridges. I'm guessing it was amicable and they've gone separate ways. But I just feel like we'll miss him. But then at the same time, I feel like he will fulfill what he wants to do in his career.
Yeah, exactly. I thought he would be there for a lot longer too. But again, he's still only in his late 20s. He's got a hell of a lot of time left in his career, hopefully.
Yeah.
And it's a good. There's obviously another chance. There's a chance he could return down the line too. I'm hoping we see something similar to what we saw with Sami Callihan and Mustafa Ali, that he goes away for a couple of months, goes elsewhere, just to test the ground and test the water, make a show of himself elsewhere. Because I know he's already going to be going up to Canada and doing some shows for MLW or whatever, MPW, whatever they're called, the Scots promotions. Yeah. So he's still working with Western Revolvers too. He's doing a lot of ones. He's still a mainstay.
As long as he leaves Gia behind, we don't mind.
Oh yeah, God forbid Gia goes. Just leave me with Rosemary. It's just not fair. No, Ace Austin, he's a three-time X Division champion, three-time tag team champion, and he's someone he was booked for the world title at least twice, but it never came to fruition for whatever reason. he was a mainstay on the roster for his entire time. Rarely missed a show. But I don't think he was ever out due to injury. And his finishing, the fold was one of the most protective moves in TNA. Nobody kicked out of it. It was always broken up if or countered before he got it and locked in fully. Nobody ever actually broke out of the move itself.
Yeah.
So that's how much investment that the guys in TNA had in Ace Austin and how well protected he was. So
I do agree with Slammer's comment there, though.
It's not been confirmed by TNA, but Ace Austin did put something on his profile, like if he's questioning what's next and everything on Twitter. But apart from that, it's not confirmed by either of them. So it might just be time off to recover from injury or something like that. So hope, but it's like, wow, I can't believe it's happened. But again, it's all negative doom and gloom, regardless. Saying that, we go on to the biggest negative talking point of the whole day. Joe Hendry loses the TNA.
I was going to say
Trick Williams in a pretty intense battle at NXT Battleground. Trick Williams managing to outsmart the referee and stole the victory to become the new face of TNA. I did watch this match last night. It was really, really good. A good 20-minute fight between the two of them. Really showcased what both of them can do. Trick Williams is incredibly strong. Deceptively powerful. And deceptively bigger than I thought he was too. It was the first match I've seen him in properly face after the tag team match. But when you see them together one-on-one, you just how tall he is and how big, how strong he is. It's incredible. It's a really, really good match. I recommend if you can check it out, go and check it out. It was a damn good match to main event the show on.
I couldn't believe how the match went and then how it ended. I was just kind of like, oh shit! One thing I will say, and I'm going to mark out on this a little bit. You look at the hat that I'm wearing. All right. So if you look at the hat I'm wearing, what's it say? TNA Wrestling, right? It's got the logo on there and stuff like that. Yeah, it's official merch. What the fuck was the hat that the guy who's supposedly the president wearing on NXT? I've got no love for that hat whatsoever. It was the most basic bitch hat that I've ever seen. And you're meant to be representing TNA, and you can't even wear the damn logo. Do you know what I mean? Like there was something like back along when Hogan said, when Hogan was in Impact and stuff, he's like, if you're going to come out to the ring, you come out as your character. You come out and you retire. You come out as your wrestler. Do you know what I mean? And then this president guy's just sat there with his glasses and some stupid ass hat and all that. Look, I know I'm ranting about a hat and we've got much bigger things to talk about. But the thing is, I'm like, we're meant to be putting ourselves on the map and we can't even be represented properly by the fucking president. Do you know what I mean? Like, who's going to take us seriously if you look like some fucking generated creative player? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'll put my clothes away now.
That's okay. Mike Santana was also at NXT Battleground where he was confronted by No Quarter Catch Crew. He would then go on to have a match against guys in the chat can correct me if I'm mispronouncing his name. Tavian Heights of the No Quarter Catch Crew, on the NXT.
Tavian? Is it Tavian Heights? It sounds like somewhere in Dorset or something.
Yeah, Tavian, Tavion. Yeah, Tavian. Yeah, I didn't see the match, but I only found out what the match about the match literally about an hour or so ago, and I was writing the script up for tonight's show because the Bison was away.
Yeah.
Mike Santana also will be facing Trick Williams for the TNA title next week after. So this has come a lot sooner than expected. So I'd love to know what you guys think. Is someone getting involved in this match? Stand off in the chat. Let us know what you think. Because I'm pretty sure Mike Santana is going to be the guy bringing the title home. He's, that's like the first thing he said as soon as Joe Hendry lost is, well, it's up to me to bring this back home now. So do you think someone's going to interfere in this match, especially with his match?
I mean, are we just going to have NXT with a week-long TNA title reign? Because I think, don't get me wrong, it's just it's a few days on now, and even just on the socials and stuff like that, people are still talking about it. Yeah. So it has been a shock. It has been a momentous move in the history of wrestling.
Yeah,
it's one of them things as well where, like, you know, I was skeptical because I thought, have we peaked in having this business relationship between the two companies when we've got like our poster boy Joe Hendry going into the ring with Randy Orton? How do you top that? And then now you have got someone who isn't contracted to TNA.
Yeah.
Or like, all right, fair enough, he's on the roster page now, but still, you know, he isn't contracted to TNA, and he is our champion.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you try and, like, how do you make that make sense? If we said like 5 years ago that Johnny Gargano would have been TNA champion, you would have been like, oh, come on, man. Like, you know, whatever you're smoking or sniffing, just stay off it. Do you know what I mean? Go back in your room and start playing 2K20 or whatever, you know, because it's not going to happen. Whereas now, it's one of those things that I've probably said it multiple times on this show. It's a great time to be a TNA fan because we've got that shock factor and that excitement back. We cannot predict what's happening week by week. Like, you know, I know it's not like necessarily on our script, and we're probably going to go over it shortly and stuff like that. But when you got like Zaya Brookside and Rosemary, I couldn't predict what was happening with them.
Yeah.
She whipped it with a belt, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? I'm just like, what's going on? So it's one of those things where there's, rather than just having like a card and then having one match for the jaw dropper, there's so many jaw dropping moments all the way through these shows now. It's whoever is creating and whoever is doing all these different things, like in the backgrounds of TNA and, like, you know, working with NXT. It's just a fantastic time to be a fan, and I'm just like, I'm all for it. I'm all in.
Yeah, you know, I know that with Joe Hendry having this rematch still to come, I'm thinking we could possibly see a triple threat at Slammiversary. You know, I don't see Santana winning this match next week. I'm pretty sure there's going to be interference, but for it to, if they can push it on to a triple threat or something at Slammiversary, that for Trick Williams would be huge as well.
Who interferes though? Who interferes?
I'm guessing.
Have a little shot.
I'm guessing someone from the No Quarter Patch crew. I'm guessing that Trick Williams. I'm not sure what the relationship is between him and them, but they cross paths with Mike Santana on Sunday.
What about Mustafa Ali?
That's another one. Mustafa Ali. Yeah, that would be interesting if he gets involved. And that would be really.
He's
cool
got
too.
links to NXT and that, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does, and that's well. That's like, wow. They could really light a fire with that one if they can get Mustafa Ali to be the guy to bring the title back and really blow everybody apart. So, like, what Eric Isaac has to say, I see Trick beating Santana next week on NXT, but Santana will win the title back.
I agree, Eric. I like that. I like that kind of hunch there. Yeah. Putting the gold on Santana in New York would be fantastic.
Yeah,
it really would.
It would be brilliant. Yeah, and it's not that different from when Kenny Omega carried the title over to TNA. Only Trick did it when they. Yeah.
I mean, like the difference. So, I kind of agree with what Dead Punk's saying there, but it's like Kenny Omega, like, to have him in a TNA ring was insane. It really was. But then fantastic. At that time, I was dipping my toe into watching a bit of AEW. It's just kind of like I jumped on the back of the hype of a little bit of the bubbly. But, like, you know, that was kind of why I was loitering with AEW and that. But then the match he had with Swan, I won't lie, you know, I love Swan, I really do, but I felt like Omega carried him. And then the disrespect that was shown to our strap, to our company, to our title by AEW, I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? If it wasn't for an underdog, dare I say it, such as TNA, no one would have even bothered thinking of doing AEW. Like, you know, in my opinion, I just say it because I'm a WCW fan. Do you know what I mean? So it's like seeing that, like, I really don't think that there would have been an AEW. So the disrespect that they were showing to TNA, and then, like, fast forward to, like, you know, the past couple of months, Jeff Jarrett making like one of his speeches to say he wants to go on one more run for a heavyweight title and stuff like that. And he stood there in the ring and he isn't allowed to say TNA in his speech. I'm like, how fucked is this corporate, like, triangle and stuff like that? Like, and we've, like, you know, he created TNA with his old man, you know, like NWA and stuff like that, you know, and he can't say TNA, yet NXT is like, oh yeah, you know, we'll put the title on one of our, like, top talents. Do you know what I mean? It's like, where is the business? So whoever is behind this business deal and stuff like that, I'm sorry, Mr. Shithat, You know, I apologize for my little rant on you. You're obviously a great business guy and stuff like that, but you don't know your taste in hats. I've got hundreds. Honestly, drop in my DMs. I'll send you one that looks better than the shit fucking creator player hat that you've got on. Do you know what I mean? But whoever's doing the business is just, you know, I'm all for it. I really am. It's like I've probably said about 30 times already. It's a great time to be a TNA.
Well, I think the big difference between NXT and AEW is Shawn Michaels is a professional and Tony Khan is a fanboy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I 110% agree that you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there.
Anyhow, let's just have a look where else we got. Yeah, Laredo Kid also appeared on this week's NXT representing AAA and TNA. He was challenging or answering NXT's North American champion Ethan Page's invitation to a match. Page will now have to defend his title in a four-way against Laredo Kid, Javon Evans, and Ray Phoenix in a fatal four-way match in WWE versus AAA Worlds Collide on June 9th in Los Angeles. That's going to be an absolute banger of a match. Laredo Kid mostly there representing AAA, but his promo, he says he came over from TNA to come here and say, I want a shot at this. I want to get that title off you. And Ethan Page and all three guys cornering him. The crowd went nuts for Laredo. The crowd went even madder when Phoenix came out. Yeah. Ethan Page has got his work out of him, and he's a hell of a talent. So that match, that whole event, the WWE AAA Worlds Collide, will also be streamed on YouTube. So those who want like following WWE can still catch it up there. So it's going to be really, really. I'm really looking forward to that. There's going to be some matches in there. I've definitely got my eyes on already, and that's one of them. Oh, that is the one, but there's going to be more. I doubt some of the talent that's on WWE is so amazing. Under Siege was streamed on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch for free on Monday by request of Robert Stone, which is really good to see. Yep. So if you missed it on the Sunday, you got a chance to catch it up and to catch up on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch the night afterwards, and it's still free on YouTube now. So it's not just the one-off. Now it's gone off. You have to wait a couple months before we put it back on again. So if you miss Under Siege and you don't have the TNA Plus app, you can go and watch it on YouTube now. Well, obviously wait until I've finished this. Well, we've finished the podcast. So hopefully we've not bored you that much.
Thanks for stopping in. Off you go.
Under Siege has also marked the 12th consecutive sold-out event TNA has had since Slammiversary 2024. But nobody watches TNA, do they?
No. You know, no one watches it, especially goes to their shows. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I do get a bit frustrated when it says sold-out show and you see the empty seats. But then at the same time, I'm like, people do need to use the toilet. People do need to go to the bar and stuff like that. But I'm just like, what's going on? And then, like, I think, you know, the joy of TNA as well is they'll have like a pay-per-view, and then the 2 nights after is the filming for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks or whatever for the Impact episodes. And you see the same fans for the next few weeks and stuff like that. But then you see empty stands. Like, that does kind of piss me off because I just wish that I was stateside and I had the ability to go to all the shows like Will does. Do you know what I mean? If I had the ability to do that, I would be there every single show. But it's just the fact that, like, you know, I don't know if you'd be the same. Like, it would be great to go to a pay-per-view, you know? Yeah. Like, you know, I'd love to go to, say, like, a WrestleMania, right? But you go to WrestleMania and you see the WrestleMania matches.
Yeah.
I would want to go to the Raw and the SmackDown after because I want to see the fallout. I want to see, like, that new champion walk out with a belt. I want to see, like, you know, the story unfold. So it's kind of like, as much as people go like, oh, there's a pay-per-view in town, I look at it and I'm like, it'd be great if those fans also went to the shows after.
Yeah.
You know, because the problem with the pay-per-views as well is with casual fans and stuff like that. So we were in Los Angeles lately, weren't we? Like recently.
Yes.
And it's one of those things, right? Like between the 2 shows, it's like it's almost like I was betting with myself. I was like, that guy there, I bet he's not on the filming, he's not on the tapings, and he wasn't. Look at another one, I was like, oh, okay, that was a surprise. The thing is you're going to get these fans who are kind of like, we get to see the Hardy Boys, we get to see Joe Hendry, you know, and the way that we've got like Joe Hendry now, And like we spoke the other day and said about like his contract being up in December. Does he go? 100%. I think he does. I think he goes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, who fills those boots? And
we got Santana and Mustafa Ali really are the top guys now.
Yeah, but are they going to start playing the guitar and doing silly songs about Edge's bitch and stuff? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's just the thing is I look and I'm like, who fills those boots? Whereas like I use that with kind of like a question mark and like an open invite, because we're TNA. Like look at how far behind we got behind EC3. People like that. We hone stars and then they go on to other things. Some make it and break it, some don't, some fall. But fact of the matter is, someone like Joe Hendry, if he goes on to like WWE, I hope there's a little stipulation in his contract which means he can come back through the door to TNA at any given moment.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd love that.
The pops will be insane.
Yeah. Yeah, man, exactly.
So have a quick look at the chat. So, hi Norris, it's good to see you. He is so happy with Scott from Oregon on TNA. Finally come to Detroit. Bound for Glory was amazing. Bound for Glory 2024 was amazing indeed. And just having a look through the chat quickly. Mira had to watch Under Siege with no sound. Well, I don't know why that what's up with that.
Mir does that with adults. So.
Anyhow, TNA's newest knockouts, Myla Grace and Harley Hudson, had their debut match on Xplosion, now available on TNA Plus and YouTube. I suggest you guys go and check this out when you can too. This was an absolute fucking brilliant match. A great way to showcase both of them. And not going to be giving any results away. I suggest you go check it out and watch 15 minutes of absolute class wrestling.
So is the Xplosion matches... Xplosion, is that now available on YouTube?
Yes.
All of them available, or is it just that one?
On Tuesdays, the Xplosion is released on YouTube.
I had no idea. I've not seen an Xplosion for ages.
Yeah,
that's not a euphemism.
Anyhow, that's the news and rumors and stuff I could get for chattering. Let's go on to the review. The Under Siege review. We start off with Rosemary versus Zaya Brookside. This was a pretty good match. Rosemary constantly teasing her throughout the match, trying to break her, poking the bear, and then Zaya Brookside literally did break the Angel's wings. She has the broken wings while they snapped off, and she went completely insane. It was a really good match, really good fun to watch, and then watching Zaya Brookside turn to the dark side in the end. Oh my god, I did not expect her to break so easily. After Rosemary took Lee out on last Thursday, that obviously was a huge catalyst. But still, I would have thought Zaya would have held on a bit longer. But my god, she went fucking berserk with that belt, and Rosemary had a massive bruise up her back.
It was great to see. To be fair, it's just like my only gripe is like you look at how long Rosemary's been around. You look at like the service that she's given to TNA and stuff like that. Why are we burying her on a pre-show again?
Yeah,
well, I mean, like, is there something I don't know about her? Is she part of the production team? Has she got like other like duties or something like that? Is it her preference? But I think that we need to start showing that lady some respect, because like she is a mainstay, and like with the rise of the knockouts and stuff like that, I really do feel that like you've got to give that woman her flowers and stop giving her the janitor's job, because it's just not fair. Like we're fans of Rosemary, but like why Rosemary isn't in that picture? Like I won't lie, I did think that like the Elegance versus Spitfire match was okay. It was better than I thought it was going to be. That should have been a match on the pre-show, in my opinion. And then Rosemary and Zaya get the spotlight. Like I don't know. I just didn't agree with the billing in that occasion. I'm probably making a big deal out of nothing as usual, but the fact is, it's just I feel like Rosemary deserves some respect. You wouldn't you wouldn't stick Cristiano Ronaldo on a kickabout before kickoff, would you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he'd expect too much to start off with.
Exactly.
You have to give him a huge cash sum in advance.
Yeah, I'd put him in goal just to take the
piss. we then got Mike Santana versus Casey Navarro. As
Pardon me?
Mike Santana versus Casey Navarro.
Pardon me?
Mike Santana versus
Pardon
Casey
me?
Navarro. Because AJ Francis comes out claiming that he's injured himself by basically falling out the bed. It's what I gathered from his.
Oh, it's something to do with his limo, wasn't it?
Or his limo, or something. Yeah. But he fell out of his limo, or he tweaked his leg. He's standing on a crutch, and Mike Santana absolutely battered the crap out of Casey throughout most of this match. But
Hell of a match.
Katie got some great offense into the match. Eventually fell apart because Casey Navarro getting smacked by a spin the block. Santana picking up the win. But after the match, Santana helps Navarro to his feet to raise his hand in appreciation and respect, only to then get attacked by AJ Francis, who hits him with his crutch. Navarro reluctantly joins in the assault. And once again, we see Navarro is being thrown to the wolves by Francis. Could we see a split coming? Because this isn't the first time Casey Navarro has been left uncomfortable with something that had with how AJ Francis conducted himself. He's been left in the deep end whenever shit's about to hit the fan. Quite a few times. Francis is clearly ducking Santana. And once again, Casey Navarro is paying for it.
The thing is, it's like, if you were Casey Navarro, what would you do? Would you walk out with your head held high knowing that you just had respect of one of the biggest people on the TNA roster right now? Which, sorry, I will just segue because I did see a comment earlier between Slammer and Norris saying about who's filling Josh Alexander's boots. Well, Mike Santana. It's no-brainer. No-brainer. Hopefully that answers your question. We've got a guy who is current, present. Santana can even speak on the mic, which is something that Josh could only do in the last 6 months of his TNA career. Prove me wrong. So, but what I'm saying is, if you were Casey Navarro, what would you do? Would you turn your back on the guy who's got the money? Or would you would you affiliate with Santana, or what would you do? Do you go solo? I fully believe it. Now we've seen, because it was horrible circumstances in my understanding, the way that Swan was no longer part of, to do with TNA and stuff like that. But it's just Casey stepped in and I just thought, well, I know of Casey and stuff like that. And all he's done is completely surpassed every single expectation. Yes, thank you, Barry. But, he took the opportunity. He's taken it well. And Casey Navarro, what does he want to call the X division? The Blessed division. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's something I can get behind. I do see him as a future X division champ.
Definitely.
He's a great tag team wrestler, but he's also, as we've seen against Santana, he's a great solo wrestler, and he can really sell the moves and stuff like that, So he's another one who I think 20. I love how it's going with him, but I think 2026 we'll be talking a lot more about him.
Definitely, he's him and Leon Slater are the pillars of the X division now.
Oh man,
in my opinion. I know we got Trey Miguel, we got Zachary Wentz. They're now more in the tag division. Hopefully, one of them will go down the world title route or an international championship as well, because those guys are fantastic wrestlers too. But for the X division is usually where the up and coming wrestlers start off and then move forward. So Casey Navarro, Leon Slater, those two guys are the standard of the X division already.
Put some gold on Trey. Gold on Trey. He stuck around when his brothers went elsewhere.
Yeah,
he knows what TNA is about. I want us to kind of put him on a pedestal for a bit.
And so look, where am I out of the notes? And then we go backstage where Eric Young wishes Cody Deaner good luck on his upcoming match. We go to Eddie Edwards versus Cody Deaner. A really good match, I must admit. Cody Deaner showing a hell of a lot of offensive moves that we've never seen pull out much, if at all. Deaner literally ran out with a bang in this match. Eddie Edwards was just too much for him in the end, and with some help from Melissa Edwards, of course. Yeah. But Lish does nothing wrong. She's just there. She's just the honey badger who's helping Eddie. as Eric will come to point out. But what were your thoughts on the match before we go into that?
I mean, it was great to see Deaner do all of those things that he just hasn't been doing. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's a shame that it kind of came to a storyline and he had to we had to wait until that to see him put on like a jaw dropper. Do you know what I mean? Like I know he's a good wrestler. I loved him when he was with cousin Jake and stuff like that. I loved him in Wrestle House, and he's gone through so many different character evolutions and stuff. I loved him in Violent by Design. Before your career changing match and stuff like that, you get a good luck from the guy that you stabbed to death. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's incredible, like the whole kayfabe thing and that kind of went out the window. But just like I've got a time for Deaner. I listen to his podcasts and stuff as well, and like he is a good dude. I didn't like the way the match kind of ended as such. I'm not saying that I think that like Deaner should have won as such, but I'm just saying I didn't really like the way it ended. And like seeing Eddie Edwards, which ironically I'm not a big fan of, but I've got an Eddie Edwards t-shirt on today to make it make sense. Eddie Edwards, I just felt like he was performing at half-mast. So it did really make Deaner look good, but who knows what happens next for Deaner. Like I think you and Jason said the other week, like they kind of need to write him up because he is an integral, important part to TNA, which I'm forever grateful to. If he's part of this production team and part of the storyline stuff like that, brilliant. I absolutely love that. But I still think it'd be good if he was like in the ring now and then, because you look at how the crowd pops when he comes out asking for people's choice and stuff. It might be a bit Butlins, but it works.
And after the match, the exhibition champion moves Brian Myers and JDC come down, rub salt on the wounds with Deaner, piss off all the fans in Canada, only to have Northern Armory come down to Deaner or Canada's defense. We now have an impromptu 6-man tag team match, firing up the fans even more. Eric Young gets Hammer, the Honey Badger, Brampton's basketball team mascot, to join them at ringside. We then go on to the system, moves Brian Myers and JDC versus the Northern Armory, Eric Young, Judith Icarus, and Travis Williams. This was a really, really fun match. For a short while, the Eric Young and the Northern Armory get to play the baby faces and get the fans on their side and really, really buttered up the fans and really, really just put on a really entertaining match. Probably one of the best matches of the night. It was so entertaining, and kudos to Alicia Edwards for defending herself and destroying that bastard badger, because we all know how dangerous those badgers can be. especially honey badgers. You see them, what they can do. Christ.
Dangerous things.
They make wolverines look like pussies.
Which it doesn't matter. The ones with teeth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Teeth and claws, that old Richard.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not get cancelled.
No, but brilliant. We got to see great flurry of offense, especially from Icarus and Travis Williams in this match. This really did showcase what those guys can do, which is something.
The thing about Travis, that's the bold lad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Travis to me looks like Eric Young before you've created him.
Yeah.
So Travis Williams is another creative player. I'm just like, I looked at him, I was just like, there's nothing there. But then, like, the fact is, it's like, even though I sound like I'm being malicious about how he looks, Jesus Christ, he can wrestle.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it to his face. I would not say it to his face. That is a lad who can move. And, like, obviously, with Icarus, those two getting together and doing their little, like, their tag team combinations and stuff like that. Jesus Christ, man. I've underestimated them. I think that match there is the one that's put them on the map for me.
Definitely, it was one of the big plays that Eric Young, Macklin, ASOS, and guys they were saying that get the Northern Armory in the spotlight one way or another. Get Cinnamon State in the spotlight one way or another, and this is how they've done it.
Yeah.
Just have a look. We've got a spam comment come here, so I'll just block them. All right, there we go. Where are we now? Yes, so we've got the system getting just before our next match, we meet TNA's newest knockouts, Myla, Grace, and Harley Hudson, who are watching from ringside. Great to see them live. Great to see them again. Go check their match out on Xplosion when you get the chance to, guys. It is not one that will not disappoint, and it really does showcase how good these two are. I just wish I could have been down to see Harley Hudson live a couple of years ago when she won Gut Check, because I'm so gutted I missed that, especially after seeing this match. It was incredible. We then go on to Ash by Elegance and Head by Elegance versus Spitfire, Danny Luna and Jody Threat in a match by Elegance. No disqualification for the Knockouts Tag Team Championship. For me, this was probably the most enjoyable Knockouts match of the entire night. It was way above my expectations, given how frequently we got to see these teams face off in the ring, out the ring, all but the insane offense both of them gave to each other everywhere. You know, they fought everywhere, in the ring, out the ring, under the ring, around the arena. Jody Threat took a hell of a beating in this match. Danny Luna dished out a hell of a lot of punishment. It was so unpredictable and way above my expectations, given how we've seen these teams face off at least 4 or 5 times in the past. And then and still ending with the expected interference from Maggie Lee and the personal concierge. It still didn't take anything away. Instead, it added to the excitement of the match instead, which was nice. Yeah. But for me, it was probably the best Knockouts match of the night, which is, I'll get into a bit more when we go down to the others. But it was such a surprise to be entertained by what seemed to be repetition.
No, I agree.
It was really, really good. Anything else to add?
No, not really. I did completely misunderstand the fact that it was a no DQ match. I did skip forward and I was like, what the hell? There's weapons. Why aren't they disqualified? And I was just like, right, okay, now it's got my attention. But like I said earlier, I personally, I did feel that Zaya and Rosemary have more of a storyline. And I did feel that, like, you know, they should have been on the main card. It should have been the other way around. But that's just my personal opinion on it. But it was still a good match all the same. But inside, I'm happy that Spitfire have disbanded.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's heartbreaking, but Danny Luna, we've been wanting to see Danny Luna go for the Knockouts title, and hopefully she will start to go for the Knockouts title. And Jody Threat deserves a push there too. So,
like, not being funny, Danny Luna versus Tessa Blanchard. Boom, there we go. Yeah, you've got a 5-star match.
And Myla Grace and Harley Hudson have already teased about becoming a tag team in TNA as well. So, and given the chemistry you see from them on Xplosion, right? If they can team up, if they do team together and become,
you got to stop giving it props. I'm going to leave in a second and go and watch Xplosion. Do you know what I mean? You're making it sound that good. I'm like, what am I doing here?
No, if they do become a solid team, then we will see the next Spitfire from them too. Yeah, because just a proper well-oiled machine in the tag team division, like we've seen from the Elegance brand too, and we saw from Rosemary and Havoc as well, and Kelly and Masha Somovich. They gelled together really quickly too. Yeah. And let's try to think of something to say to that, but I'm not going to say anymore. Backstage, we go to a promo with Zaya Brookside, who was completely snapped, stating that whatever happens next to Rosemary is on Rosemary. She wanted this. She's going to get it. Really, really cold, dark, almost terrifying angel of the ring. It was just like, whoa, what a twisted character that was. And literally about just over an hour. So we got from a sweet little angel to a scary little bitch. Oh, but saying a bit bitch is a bit demeaning. So that everyone thinks I'm saying she's a puss. No, I mean,
it works. It works.
And then we go on to Order 4, Mustafa Ali and the Great Hands of Tasha Steelz versus Raj Singh stepping in for Ace Austin, the Rascals, and Indy Hartwell. This was another brilliant match, completely unpredictable, despite the obvious guy, the obvious floor guy taking Ace Austin's place. But it was incredible. Action was non-stop from start to finish. The character shift from Mustafa Ali once again showing through when he was in the ring and post-match. But we got some great spots between Tasha Steelz and Indy Hartwell, so we're seeing them go forward one-on-one even more. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
It's been a while since we've seen Steelz wrestle as well. It's just like, oh, it's about time. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't know if it's a personal thing or what, but like, you know, again, I feel that that's someone who should be getting the spotlight.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I seen back along. I think it's one of her interviews. What I was saying when she went for a tryout at WWE, they said that she could be a referee.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, have you not seen her wrestle?
yeah,
Like she's been knockouts champion and stuff like that, and she is that fucking good. So, you know, but then like, who knows? We could get this, like you say, we could get like a rivalry going on with Indy Hartwell, and we could be in for some decent matches down the line.
yeah. Some of the quick jump through the chat quickly. So no, yeah, it's a champagne campaign. Raj Singh. He'll make up his mind which one he wants to be, but on the this time round it was Raj Singh. But you know, him having that vendetta against Mustafa Ali too. You know, when he came out, he reminded everyone what he did for Mustafa Ali. You know, he ran his campaigns, he answered his calls, he got his shopping, he did everything for him, and then he got cast aside with no explanation. And then Mustafa Ali comes back. He's got this whole new group around him, doesn't even bother to try even consider him. So he was there for some payback, and unfortunately for him, he got destroyed.
Don't get me wrong. The thing is out of all the people, it's like that, who's their mystery partner going to be? And I thought it was going to be Zachary Wentz's girlfriend because apparently she got released. So I was just like, oh well, there we go. But then I thought, well, does that marry up? Are we going to have like a bit of like more of an intergender sort of match go on? And I thought maybe that doesn't work. And then when Raj Singh come out, I've got to be honest, I wasn't disappointed. If that makes sense. I looked and I thought, okay, that wasn't necessarily the star that I was thinking it could have been, you know, especially when they had like X-Pac on their team back along. I just thought, how's this going to go? And then when he reminds you of all the stuff that's going on, I thought, all right, I can get behind that. So it's kind of like a convincing storyline.
Yeah.
And obviously there's you know, there's chemistry between you know, between Singh and Mustafa and stuff like that. I thought, no, this could work. And I'll be honest, I was quite impressed with how it went.
Yeah.
You know, I did, you know, when they like Raj Singh, I was just like, now when he's bringing the Indian lion, you know, we need to get that on the go. So he got the wrong guy, but like, you know, I don't know, like, you know, like I say, I wasn't disappointed that it was Raj Singh. It was kind of good to see him, and I had no idea that Brampton was his hometown.
Yeah, it was a really good match. It was probably one of the best matches of the night for me too. So I was, like you said, when he reminded everyone why he come back, you know, that just it's like it's TNA's long-term storytelling coming back to remind everyone that TNA does long-term storytelling. So if a guy comes back, he's got
no one watches TNA.
Oh yeah, no one watches it, do they? Oh god, it's only the 4 or 5 people who do.
Yeah.
Oh. Backstage, Santino Marella gives his daughter Arianna Grace a pep talk ahead of this match against Tessa Blanchard. And then after the sponsored injury update reel, Steve Mackin gives another fantastic promo, warning Matt Cardona that regardless of how beat up he is, this Thursday it's tag 'em, bag 'em, and mayhem for Matt Cardona. Really great to see Steve Mackin, even if he's not in the ring, just to see Steve Mackin on the screen.
The thing is we've had that dog collar match, and then there was that whole statement saying like, yeah, we're not having a violent match and that lot now. Now you've got Steve McLean versus Matt Cardona, the king of hardcore wrestling, you know, in recent years, and you're telling me that we're not going to have a bloodbath. Like, make it make sense. I'm like, I want to see someone get absolutely battered. But like, you know, maybe it was just like we're not going to do that anymore. Psych, who knows? You know,
it was more if we're going to reduce it for now, sort of, and they're not banning it completely.
Oh,
you know, I've seen dirt sheets recently saying that they're banning the cutthroat taunts and things like that. I don't see that being a thing at all either.
Right.
You know, I'm not read into it at all. I just saw it and thought that's a load of crap. You know, because Deanna Price does that. So they're going to ban that from AEW too. Are they going to?
Yeah.
You know, that is essentially a signal that you're going down. It's not a signal that I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'll be like banning everyone from giving everyone a thumbs up because it offends everybody nowadays.
Christ, imagine if we start doing the socket thing.
Yeah, God. Exactly, Sammy.
Yeah.
If you guys had that honky, that was the dog.
Yeah, he's kicking off. He's like, hell no. The road dog.
We then go on to.
I fully agree.
We then go on to Arianna Grace versus Tessa Blanchard. Before this match begins, NXT's Robert Stone bans Director of Authority Santino Marella from ringside because he doesn't have a manager's license. Oh, that's just mean. That's mean.
I don't know what I think about him, man. I don't know what I think about this whole Robert Stone thing.
Yeah.
Like, the bit that's getting me is like when he's on about the powers that be, the powers that above. Like, who is he on about? Is he on about John Layfield? What was that whole John Layfield thing about? Just came in, started wiping people out, and then disappeared off the face of the earth. What is going on?
Yeah. Hi to Hakeem. How you doing?
Hey, man.
This match really didn't stand out for me at all. Nothing really wowed me. It was great for the ongoing NXT versus TNA Authority angle, and it sets up the mixed tag team match that we're getting this Thursday. But that was more discussed later on in the event. But we're going to be getting Arianna Grace and Santana Marella versus Tessa and Robert Stone now.
Yeah.
From this match, but there's not much else to say. Tessa couldn't compete at Border Brawl on May 25th due to a concussion protocol. But anyone who says Arianna botched anything in this match to cause it wasn't watching the same match I was. I don't see any botched. I didn't see any flop or fail from either of them that caused this concussion that Tessa suffered. So I don't know what
Tessa lost her balance on the turnbuckle, but then she done another move and got up and done it again, which I wouldn't say that's a botch. That's kind of like a precaution for your own safety.
Yes, so my guess is something clearly was wrong then, but I didn't see Arianna Grace botch any move to deliberately cause any injury to Tessa's head. You know, she didn't whack her in the face or anything at all throughout the entire match for the fist or anything. So, but the match wasn't anything particularly special apart from long term, apart from just progressing the story. So it was a bit of a letdown. But this is one I would have probably put on the pre-show more than anything else. But because it's Tessa and because it's Arianna Grace, it goes on to the main card because it's got such big stars in and such big names.
Yeah.
All that. So after the match, Santino comes out to check to aid his daughter until Robert Grace has security removed him from ringside, really, really firing up the tension between them and then going on to setting up this match that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
We then go on to Masha Slamovich versus Victoria Crawford with Robert Stone at ringside and Tom Hannafin going absolutely batshit crazy because Robert Stone's still able to do what the hell he likes. But this, for me, was another underwhelming title defense, which really sucks to have to say.
Yeah.
From Masha Slamovich. I was hoping to see more aggressive wrestling from Masha and something of actual interest from Victoria Crawford because she hasn't impressed me at all since I've seen her come in. But this match also felt it was set out to be rushed to finish really quickly, given the length of the matches that followed, and the constant interference from Robert Stone took a lot of attention away from everything too. Yeah. This match could if there was a match off the main card, and then this match had more time, it would have probably been a lot better than it was. But for me, it was rushed together too quickly. It was over too quickly. It just didn't wow me in any way at all, which really, really sucks to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Hakim's just between Mash and Hakeem saying between Mash's match with Crawford and the Tessa match with Tessa, everyone has been hearing this is boring matches during some Mix's matches.
Oh, really? I gotta be honest, I didn't notice, but I would have been one of those people.
Yeah, and Hakeem agrees with the Robert Stone and JBL stuff as well. You know, what the hell's going on with both of them?
Yeah,
really?
I mean, don't get me wrong, the fact that someone like Shawn Michaels carried the TNA title to the ring and stuff like that, you know, it was a hell of a nod and stuff like that. Just get the Heartbreak Kid on. Just put him on TNA just for a little appearance.
Yeah.
We don't need Triple H or anything like that. Christ, look, we'll take Chad Gable at the moment. Do you know what I mean? It would just be great if we had someone from that higher echelon of like WWE to just come along. Like what the hell is Sheamus up to these days? Do you know what I mean? But it's just like, you know, with the whole like the JBL thing, I was behind it and that lot, and then you see them go into the office of the system, and then nothing's gone on, and I'm like, well, why did that fizzle out? Like, did Layfield get bored, or like, you know, what happened there? And then like, you know, because he kept popping up in Joe Hendry's matches now, so why hasn't he popped up? Hang on, maybe he pops up. Maybe that is the guy who interferes at the at the title match. Trick Williams, Trick Williams and thingy. Maybe JBL's going to pop up again.
Oh, it's his only chance to redeem anything from that storyline, because I've pretty much forgotten about it until it gets brought up again.
Mate, honestly, these little things, they bug the hell out of me. They really do, because I'm like, why didn't it end? I'm still furious that EY and ODB never got a divorce.
Yeah. Even ODB couldn't answer that. She's like, oh, that's one that still needs writing. So after the match, Sam Bitch says she wants to give the Knockouts World title opportunity to someone who deserves it. Thank you very much. So we all do. So so she calls out Lei Ying Lee. Robertson quickly interrupts after Lei Ying enters the ring, tells Lee she's an opportunity. So she has a match coming this Thursday. Who it's against, not sure, but if she wins, she becomes number one contender. So that's something to look forward to. But still, at least we know who Masha wants, and it's a match that I would love to see. Masha
I would, but I'm not a massive Lei Ying Lee fan, because I just feel like that she's like half a second to a second too slow for her spots. Like, she's a hell of a striker. She really is. But I just feel like there's just that, like, oh, I've got to do this. Oh, I've got to do that. Yeah. Oh, I've got to do this. And it's just, So the thing is with Masha, like, she could probably orchestrate the match and stuff like that. I'm not writing Lee off. I'm just saying, like, in my personal opinion, if she wins the title, then I'll be hell of a disappointed. Because I really don't think that's the girl for that title right now, you know. But I wouldn't give it to Arianna Grace either. But still, it's just one of them things. Do you know what I mean? It's
what the hell do we go next?
Yeah.
NXT's Battleground NXT Battlegrounds TNA World Championship match is advertised, and then TNA Wrestling pays tribute to the late great Sabu.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's a hell of a hole that's been left.
Yeah. We then go on to the Nemesis, Nick and Ryan Nemeth versus Matt Hardy and Leon Slater. An absolute fantastic match. It saved the tail end of Under Siege for me. I'll go into a bit more of that later on, but this was a really, really good match. You'd expect nothing less from Leon Slater, Matt Hardy, or Nick Nemeth. I find I'm Ryan Nemeth, I suppose, but it was brilliant. This match was great. Had everyone pulled their weight, everyone hit their spots perfectly. It was just so great. All the dirty tactics are played off brilliantly. All the high fly moments are played off brilliantly. Leon Slater looked fantastic. Ryan Nemeth looked incredible in this match too, really showing off what he can do even more again. So they're building him up.
I really don't get why Ryan would gyrate his hips in front of his brother. It's just weird.
Yeah, but still I think his character is meant to be cringeworthy. So it's sort of how it was.
Oh yeah, he definitely reiterates that. My God.
And it was a damn good match. It sucks that this was the Hardys contractual rematch, so we know now that Matt and Jeff will be moving on. But again, their plans are to finish up around Bound for Glory, so there'll be something big coming Slammiversary, and then we'll probably see them, and then Bound for Glory, and then they'll be heading off. But still, a damn good match for Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth too. So they've got a huge win under their belt, and again, Leon Slater shone through, and he's still focused on the X Division title, so that's more momentum for him, win or lose. Yeah. It's a really good match, and one I recommend you guys check out. Backstage, Santino Marella wants a match against Robert Stone, and Arianna Grace ups the ante, saying she wants to step up to Tessa Blanchard, and she will take no for an answer. or she won't take no for an answer. So that's been planned and now hopefully is officially booked by Thursday. We then go on to Joe Hendry and Elijah versus Trick Williams and Frankie Kazarian. Again, this match wasn't my favorite of the night. For me, it was more of a great build for Sunday, but for TNA, apart from the seeming to serve as a taster for Battleground with some entertaining spots after Frankie Kazarian's ego clash with Trick Williams one too many times. It didn't have any wow factor to it at all. But it picked up near the end, and Frankie Kazarian, of course, had to take the fall. Otherwise, there'd be no other guy to it would just damage everything for Sunday. So, but it didn't really stand out as the main event. That it was more of a match thrown together that you could have seen on Impact.
I agree.
Which was a shame. And that goes on to the final thoughts. Unless you want to add anything to about the match.
No, man. I mean, like,
it had its moments, but it didn't.
Yeah. No, I love the fact that Kazarian's ego clashed and stuff like that. I thought that was good. I know that like me, you, and Jason discussed Kazarian and stuff. I know we're moving on with Santana. If Santana gets that belt back off of Trick, hopefully not that soon. I would like to see this whole Trick thing and like him turn up on TNA and giving us loads of shit and stuff like that. I would like to see the belt on Santana. And I will say it, and I know some people disagree. I would like to see the belt on Kazarian.
Yeah,
again, because he's been around for so long. I'm not just saying that's his reason, but I'm saying that he does, like, he holds, he sells, he attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's the full package.
Yeah, the man looks 20 years his junior when he wrestles. He doesn't look rusty. And I think it's a silly idea if we don't put the belt on him at some point in the near future.
Yeah. With that being the end of the event, my final thoughts on the whole thing. The night, it started up really strong for me, but the 3 of the 4 big matches towards the end of the night that were being pushed over the last couple of weeks really fell short of expectations and hype, and would have been better left for an Impact taping. Under Siege 2025 has been a real mixed bag indeed.
Yeah, man. I've got to say, like, I don't know, like, I won't lie. I'll probably say it was a 7 out of 10 match. And it's one of the weirdest things to rate and stuff like that. But TNA, I want to just say a 10 out of 10 for the sound rating for once. There's no squealing microphones. There was no cutting off and stuff like that. I think like Lei Ying Lee could have like noticed where the light was before she started doing the moves on stage. I thought like, there's a few bits like needed tweaking and stuff like that if I'm going to be really finicky. The matches, like we've been over the matches. Some of them were like really impressive. Some of them were way below par. It was a mixed bag, like you say. But like, overall, I thought it was a pretty strong one.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that like, Under Siege isn't going to be better than like Bound for Glory or Slammiversary. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they've got another event coming up pretty soon too, so they're juggling so much at the moment as well. With they had Battleground to contend with too, so they're juggling a lot of events at the moment in a very short space of time before Slammiversary, which is probably one of the things that's affecting everything at the moment, really more than anything else. So I'm hoping in the future that they can plan out the events to give a bit more time in between them, because they're coming like so soon after one another that there just isn't anything going on sometimes. But this is the first time it really I felt disappointed, but not with the end of the night.
Yeah.
But for this Thursday, the match is confirmed so far. Lei Ying Lee will be in action. I'm not sure against who her opponent is going to be. I've not been able to find it online.
Cody Deaner.
But she'll be in action. Steve Mackin versus Matt Cardona for the TNA International Championship, and Arianna Grace and Santino Marella will be facing Tessa, Blanchard, and Robert Stone.
That's disgusting.
That's disgusting, you son of a gun. And if anyone in the chat's got any final thoughts on Under Siege, please by all means let us know. I'd like to know what you guys think too.
Speak now or forever hold your penis.
That's a Santino speech right there.
Oh, right. Honest, like, you know, I didn't know what to think with him and stuff like that, but he's really, really, I've really warmed to him,
Yeah.
not to his penis. But like, you know, it's just like, you know, with his little anecdotes and like, you know, the way he does stuff. And, you know, I think my favorite one was where he was doing that like raffle where he's picking the names out and just reading them completely wrong. Do you know what I mean? And like, was it Sammy Callahulahan and stuff like that? Just little things. It's just brilliant.
Ash Elegance will be facing Lei Yingli on Thursday. Thank you, Mia.
Oh,
yeah, that's great. That's
okay.
That's going to be interesting. So, because if Ash Elegance beats her, Matt, she'll probably get push herself in for a world title shot or try and get herself in for a world title shot. And we know that she's going to have backup at ringside. And so will Zaya Brookside be there for Lei Yingli now that she's got this whole thing with Rosemary going on? You know, because she's so focused on just getting rid of Rosemary.
I don't know. I reckon Zaya Brookside comes down and
just goes berserk on everybody.
Yeah. What was? Oh, I'm gonna forget the name of it. What was Abyss's?
Janice.
Yeah, I reckon Zaya brings Janice back to life.
Yeah, after Rosemary destroyed her.
Yeah. Just like goes up and just puts like, you know, the concierge.
Get some duct tape around Janice or something.
Yeah. I reckon that, you know, TNA. Look, if you need storylines, like, I'm right here. Do you know what I mean? You know, that whole blood thing where you want to reduce it. Yeah, but that's out the window. I want this to look like a murder scene.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, Eric Young versus Macklin, that was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching it. I just thought like, yeah, this is, you know, he's bleeding pretty bad. But yeah.
Janice is bigger than Slayer.
Well, maybe we could like adapt Janice into like a pogo stick, you know, and then like, you know, Zaya rides it to the ring and then like, you know, jumps over the ropes. Have you seen that clip? That guy who's doing the pogo stick? Maybe she does that with Janice.
Yeah, this guy, for those listening, this guy, this is the rest of his name. He's on this pogo stick, jumping on it outside the ring about 5 or 6 times. Goes about 10 feet in the air, and then does a crossbody off of it into the ring. From about halfway across outside the arena into the ring off of a pogo stick. It was incredible.
That's what we need in TNA. You heard it here first. Pogo Janice.
Anyway, with all that said, that's all we've got time for this week, guys. So if you want to support the TNI-UK team, please feel free to super sticker us or head over to prowrestlingtees.com/Total Nonstop Impact for some great shirts. Or head over to our exclusive Spreadshirt merchandise store. The links are, of course, below. All TNI shows are all TNO shows are available for you to listen on the GoFans by SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, or listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also catch up with follow the US team tomorrow. They'll be live on Twitch and YouTube.
Yes.
Make sure to give them a follow for the watch along and the review of TNA Impact. And please help us. Oh, I skipped ahead then. I nearly forgot to give us the social plugs. God, I can't.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's wrong. God, I'm just slapping the face. Right, so socials. You can find the Bison at Lord Bison 45 or jump onto his TikTok at the Bison by Design. Follow him, check him out. He should be back. He will be back next week. So, and where can we find you, Craig?
It's quite easy. Just type in Limpstar, LimpstarUK, all as one word, and I'll pop up bloody everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Christ, I'm probably on LinkedIn. I'll probably dug up MySpace and Bieber at this point. But yeah, I'm everywhere. So yeah, just give us a follow or drop us a message or whatever, and like, you know, we can talk between the shows. And I am Network Stooge on X because I've still not figured out how to change it. I promise I'll do it one day, and I've not logged into that for about 3 months. So I might take a while to get back to you on there. What about you, Joe? Where are you?
You can follow me on Twitter at JOKEmptyspace. You can look for #EmptySpace, #Into the Void or if you fancy to take your taste buds and your sense of humour, hashtag Daily Giggle. But approach the live the mind, you just might keep your sanity.
Sanity.
It's been a pretty wild week in the void, I can assure you. Anyway, with that, thanks to everyone. Please help us please take the time to help us moving up the rankings by giving us a thumbs up on YouTube. And if you're new to the show, you like what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. And don't forget to give the bell a tickle, a squeeze, of course, a smash. And to never miss any of the TNI-UK or US teams' great TNA-rated content. With all that being said, I have been the Joker. He has been LimpstarUK. Much love to the TNI tribe. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next week.